Hey guys, thanks for tuning in. Here we are in the park with the CHEERSON CX-91 jumper high-speed racing quadcopter. This is CHEERSON's first attempt at a racing quad. It's kind of an all-in-one thing. If you missed the initial unbox setup and inspection, I'll have that pop up on the window, and I'll also have that link down in the description of the video, as well as a link on where you can check this out, where you can buy it from and see all the specs. But anyway, today's going to be all about doing a line of sight flight on this first, and then we're going to go ahead and pop on the FPV screen here, plug in CHEERSON's goggles that actually came with this quadcopter. I'm going to pop those on. You just plug them in right here, and I'm going to see how that is. And I'm also going to be recording on my Fat Sharks all the time as well. This quadcopter does have a SD card in here where you can record the video on board, but it doesn't have any way to record what the FPV is showing transmitted to you. So what I'm going to do is just tap into that channel on my Fat Sharks and record that for you as well, so you can kind of see what I'm seeing when I'm flying around. Anyway, let's go ahead and start this thing up and see how it does line of sight, and then do our FPV. Okay, so with CHEERSON quads, usually you want to just power up the quad first, and this is the case with this one. So I'm just going to plug in first, and then I'm going to go ahead and turn on the controller. I'm not going to use this FPV. I'm not going to waste the power on this just yet. I'm going to save that for the FPV flight. So this is just the line of sight. What this one has is, it looks like it just has a stable mode, which is basically an aggressive self-leveling mode, where you cannot flip it. If you push all the way on the controller, it will not flip. So that's stable mode. And then for some reason they're calling it remote, but it's actually mode 1 here is actually horizon mode. I tested this in the house, and it's basically where it will self-level itself, but you can still flip. That's basically horizon mode. So we're going to start off in stable mode, and as we switch into stable mode, we can actually see this light here is blue, and when we switch into here, it's green on both sides, so it gives you a little indication. These knobs don't do anything on this controller, they're just there. And also we have our video here, so we can take a picture snapshot or start and stop our video by pressing down. So let's go ahead and arm this thing. Arming, you're going to bring this stick all the way to the bottom right, and then we're seeing these green lights here on the bottom, and you can see how it already disarmed. So it's like it's about 5 seconds or less, and it will just disarm itself. You see how I have no throttle here. So let's try to arm again, and you can see how I have throttle. If I leave the throttle off, 2, 3, 4, 5, yeah, so about 5 seconds, and it will disarm itself. Alright, so let's launch this bad boy and see how it does. Woo! Okay, so this is stable mode, aggressive self-leveling, no flipping. And whoa, keep in mind that, whoa, okay, it seems like this throttle stick, let me check that out. It seems like this thing is dropping. Oh, so that's scary. So the spring on this one is really weak. I may need to go into here and check that out. You see how it just falls? Usually you want it to stay up a little bit, but it seems like it's staying up at mid, but when you get past mid a little bit, it just falls down. So that could be kind of dangerous. So I'm actually going to want to take this apart and stiffen up that spring. But let's just go ahead and fly anyway. Arming again. Alright, so lift test. This is 3S, keep in mind. And so from a hover to full throttle, not bad. Remember, it is 3S, so it's not going to have that much power, but it's still pretty good. Let's try full pitch forward and full throttle. Yeah, so it goes. I don't know if you can put 4S in this. I don't know if I'd want to put 4S in this one. And it also does not have the room, it looks like, for a 4S. See this close up here? There you can see the headlights. You see how there's straps on the bottom? There's actually a plastic caddy. And I don't think it'll fit a 4S unless you cut that out a little bit. But I don't even know if it can handle 4S. So this should probably mainly be, you know, strictly 3S kind of quad for beginners. So let's get a little bit better of a close-up here. Really neat looking, that's for sure. Woo! So it does go pretty quick. There's that yaw. A little bit dangerous on this throttle stick when I'm, you know, taking it off, it drops. So you really want to always keep pressure on that throttle if you have this loose bottom end throttle like I do. Switching into horizon mode by clicking this switch down to 2. We can see that it still self levels, not as quick, but it still does. Let's try to do some flips. We couldn't do flips in the first mode. Now let's try to do some flips. Just punch it and rotate the right stick all the way and hold it, and then let go when it turns back upright after it flips. Oh yeah, so really easy to do flips. Not bad at all. Let's try that again, a little bit closer. Punching it, right roll. Oh yeah, so simple. Try to maybe do an arc turn, get some height. Oh yeah, so that was full stick to the right and it maintained there. Oh yeah, so super simple. Let's try to do maybe a double left roll. 1, 2. Wow, actually flies pretty nice. You can really feel that center of gravity is really down low and in the middle because of the way the arms are tilted up, and also the battery is all the way on the bottom. So it feels really good. Cool. It's kind of a slow flip. Kind of getting disoriented. Whoop. Let's come back here. All right, there we go. So that light does help quite a bit on the back. When I was getting disoriented, I could bring it back there. Nice. 1, 2. Woo! Cool. All right, so definitely fun. I'd recommend, if you're like a full beginner, leave it up in stable mode. Switch all the way to the top. Just switch all the way to the top, because you can get in trouble if you're in horizon mode and you try to flip. You don't know how to. You can see right there, I just let off the throttle and it dropped to the bottom because there's no spring in it, and I almost crashed. So be careful. I'm definitely going to want to fix that. But battery's lasting quite a bit. This thing does have a beeper on it, and that beeper should start sounding when the battery's getting low. Nothing yet. Let's just try some fast flying, full pitch forward in stable mode. Definitely fast. Yeah, I like it. Just don't know how it's going to hold up in some crashes, but you know I'll be crashing this when I'm flying FPV, so we'll definitely see how that holds up. Nice. I'd have to say I'm fairly impressed just from flying at line of sight, how long this battery's lasting. Woo! Definitely fun. Look at this. Come in low and fast. Woo! Probably drive it into the ground there if I'm not careful, so. Wow, I can't believe the battery's lasting this long. This is great. I'm going to switch back into horizon mode. Throttle dropped again. Ooh! Well, there's a little crash. Okay. I'm having trouble with this throttle dropping. You see that? So a little bit irritating. It needs a spring. So we bent a prop in that one. There's our disarm. So we just leave it off in the, see how the throttle disarms. So nailed the ground there, and Looks like our antenna tweaked a little bit. Tighten that back up. And then we bent this propeller. No big deal. It's not that badly bent. Let's try to just fly with it slightly bent like this. But as far as the arms and the feet go, everything looks fine. Let's try again. Arming to the bottom right. Yep. Whoa. Forgot I'm in horizon mode, so we can do our flips. Now this doesn't have a full acro. Keep in mind, if you're looking at this thing, it doesn't seem like this. I couldn't find it in the instructions, or I don't see any button for full acro on this. Full acro is when it won't do any kind of self-leveling, but this doesn't have that mode as far as I can see. So you'll always have some kind of self-leveling if you let off this right stick. Flipping again. It's definitely pretty good acrobatic quad. Back into stable mode. Full pitch forward. Woo! I can't believe the battery's lasting this long. I don't get it. This is awesome. You're gonna have a lot of flight time with this thing, man. Amazing. I think this is a great quad for CHEERSON's first racer. Aside from it being kind of a unibody, and that kind of scares me. Look how long this thing's lasting. What gives? Just keeps going. Full throttle, full funnels. Woo! Oh, I think I hear some beeping. Let's bring it back. No, still good. I hope that beeper's working. Still going. Looks like the power's getting kind of weak, but it's still going. Unbelievable. There we go. Did you hear that? There's our beeper. So it's not that loud, but you can still hear it. Oh, okay, nice. Okay, cool. Well, what a line of sight flight test. That was awesome. So we got to put it through its different modes, see how much power it has, see how long the battery lasted. I'll have the timings on that battery up on the screen here for this line of sight, and I think it's going to be close to 10 minutes. That seemed like it was lasting forever. Anyway guys, let's go ahead and put a new battery in here, get these goggles on, and get the video of the goggles up on the screen. Also get this thing going, this FPV screen it comes with, and see how it does FPV. Okay, cool. So I'm not going to be wearing these goggles here, but I am going to be recording with them. So I've got the antenna up, I've got it tuned to the right channel, and I'm going to go ahead and start recording on the goggles of what's being transmitted from the CX-91. Now I'm not sure if it's the right antenna. This is a right-hand circular polarized. I'm not sure what comes on this one. It may be a left-hand circular polarized, and they may have it matched with this one here. So, you know, we'll see how the video looks at the end there. So I'm hoping that it's rather clear, but I just wanted to get the video of the FPV I'm seeing similar to it by recording into those goggles, since you can't record on any of this stuff here that they provide you. So let's go ahead and get this stuff on. Here's the screen. As you can see before we fly, I'm just going to show you the monitor here, and this is cool because you could use this for any other type of FPV application you wanted to. We can see here when I click this switch up to the top, if we can see the screen there, hopefully you guys can see that. It's going ahead and flashing, so I just took a photo, and that's actually recording into the craft. So we'll see how that looks. And then I'm pulling this down, and now we're seeing a red light blinking up here, so that means it's starting to record the video to the craft. So let's go ahead and get these goggles on and launch it and see how it does. Okay, so I do have the goggles on, and I hope you guys can see that recording in the screen. The goggles are very clear. They're probably going to be possibly clearer than the Fat Sharks, because I'm seeing no breakup whatsoever. So anyway, let's go ahead and launch this thing and start flying FPV. I am recording the video. The right switch is all the way up into stable mode, so it's going to be self-leveling. So let's go ahead and arm the motors. I've got no indication in my goggles they're armed, but I can hear the propellers, and you can actually see the left propeller there in the screen. You see that? Anyways, let's launch, and here we go. Alright, so I'm standing up here and recording, and this screen is pretty darn clear, man. Very happy with it. I'm just gonna fly around the perimeter before I go into any other mode. There we are. Hello. Woo. Okay, so stable mode. I can see that. You see that left propeller spinning, so I'm not sure what's up with that. I don't think the camera can turn to the left or right, but anyhow, there is that propeller in there. So this is stable mode, self-leveling. Don't hit the power lines, please. Alright, so I'm just kind of flying low and fast now. A little bit of break up here, not too bad. And surprisingly easy to fly. I know I'm doing all left-hand turns here. Whoa, wind's picking up there. But surprisingly easy. Let's go ahead and get up and get kind of a panoramic view of our surroundings here. There's a nice little pano. So, you know, if you wanted to use this for some sightseeing, you can. Looks like the video is fairly stable. Wow, we're really high up now. Let's get down here. Ooh, coming down pretty quick. Going to flip into horizon mode, so that right top toggle switch flipping down. Now I'm in horizon, so you got to be very careful here because you can do flips and stuff. So let's go ahead and try to do a left roll. Very simple, very easy. So not too bad. I mean, for a beginner, maybe this might be a pretty good craft. Not too bad. Let's try to get around here. Whoa. Noticing a little bit of wishy-washy control issues. Doesn't seem entirely locked in for some reason. It's kind of moving a little more than my stick input, but not too bad. You know, I mean, there is some wind. Whoa, see, I didn't do that, and it just kind of, that might have just been the wind though. Let's try to go a different angle instead of always going left. Let's try to go right here. Doing pretty good. Pretty easy to fly, actually, aside from that little bit of issue once in a while with just that not very accurate stick movement once in a while. But as you can see, you know, not too bad. I'm able to, let's try to get down and low here. Try to get low. There we go. Fun. Very fun. I'm hearing the battery. I had this other battery is only a 1500, and I had it actually on for a long time trying to get these goggles all set up correctly and tuned in. So this is not going to give us an accurate, on this second battery, it's not going to give us an accurate flight time. The first flight on the line of sight, whoa, wow, I can't believe I survived that one. The first line of sight flight, oh, there's our battery beeping. Let's try a couple of flips and rolls first before we bring it in. Woo! You can see how easy it is. 1, 2, nice. What I was trying to say is that first flight line of sight was with a stock battery, and that thing lasted forever. So anyway, let's bring this in before we completely destroy the battery. Oh shit. Alright, I hit myself in the leg there, but that's okay. The shorts blocked it. That was cool. Anyway, no blood. I cut the throttle before I hit myself, so everything's okay. It just hit the shorts right here. Cool, that was an awesome flight. Now I do have one more of these batteries. I do have this battery here, this 1800 from I think a Phelan boat, the F2012 3S battery. This is an 1800, so it's a little bit heavier. But let's pop this one in and get one more FPV flight and try to do a crash, see if we can break anything. Okay, so here we go. Got the Fat Sharks recording while I'm wearing the CHEERSON goggles again, and got that little bit of heavier battery here in the CX-91. I'm just starting the recording here. See the light blinking up there, and let's go ahead and arm it. Throttle to the bottom right. Go ahead and lift off in stable mode. And let me try to get a little more crazy with this thing and maybe, you know, maybe do some crashing. I'm not sure. Woo, there we go. Close proximity. That was neat. Down under the tree. Let's go over here above these trees. See what we can do up here. So my goggles are still really very clear. Incredibly clear still. Whoa. Whew. That was full throttle there over the fence, and it seemed to be okay. Whoa, almost hit the trees. Okay, so really good. I'm switching. I just switched into horizon mode, so we can do our flips and rolls now again with self-leveling. One thing about these goggles though, gosh, the sun is leaking into the sides, so a little bit irritating when it's fully sunny. The sun just came out really bright. Alright, let's do some acrobatics. Come on now. Flipping, rolling. Shoosh. Good. Woo. Easy to do stuff. And you know, when you let go of that self-leveling, it corrects itself, so that's cool. Flying over these trees. See if we can get under this tree again. Oh yeah, ooh. Alright, we nailed that. We nailed that branch, but we're still up. I wonder if there's any prop damage. Still flying okay. Sounds like we took off some propeller, with the propeller we took off some branches. That's alright. Whoa! Okay, almost nailed the fence there. I'm not sure I want to nail that fence with this one since it's a unibody. Whoa. Still flies good. I mean, it's still fun. You know, I could see this being a beginner quad. You're not going to have super precision control, but it's, you know, good enough. Let's try this again. Oh, wow, we made that? No way. Holy cow, I just like stuck the stick. I just punched out. We're gonna have to see how the propellers are after this. These propellers seem to be really resilient, man. Did you see that? I went right through that tree branches and it's still flying seemingly fine. It's amazing. So as you can see, I'm still learning FPV. I'm not a pro or anything, but you know, this gives you a good idea of what this thing can do. I'm trying to not really purposely trying to crash it, but I thought I would be crashing already after hitting that tree so many times, because I wanted to kind of see, whoa, what the durability was on this thing, but I'm not crashing yet. That's interesting. Let's fly through here. Whoa, okay, I'm losing my video. I gotta get up here. I'm losing my video through these trees. Woo! Wow, okay, so really fun. You could see how I went all the way over there and then the video started to get pretty bad. I'm hoping you could see that in the goggles that you guys were looking at recording. It got really choppy when I went into these trees right over there. Just kind of weaving in and out of the fence here. I'll try to go back around this fence. Woo! Nice. Okay, now I'm hearing the beeper beeping. So I'm going to bring it in. Where am I? I'm over there. Let's try not to hit ourselves. Let me bring it down kind of low before I get near myself. I kind of nailed myself last time, right in the leg. So if you're a beginner, do not get close to yourself. Oh, there was a little crash. Okay. Well, let's go ahead and pick it up and assess the damage. Oh, I'm just trying to face myself. There we are. Hello. Okay, so let's take off these goggles and go ahead and assess the damage. It's still recording. Let's do a snapshot. Pressing up on that button. Oh, that stopped the recording. Okay, so starting the recording again. Starting the recording again. Can we do a snapshot while we're recording? Pressing up on the toggle. No. So that stopped the recording. So if you press up while you're recording on the toggle to try to take a photo, it will stop the recording first, and then you can press up and do a picture. So you know what? I didn't get a picture up high. So I'm going to relaunch, and I'm going to take a couple pictures up here. I know my battery's dying, but pictures. Pictures. Picture. Okay, come on down. Oh crap. Okay, so there was alright, so we crashed from way up, so that should be a good indication of how this thing holds up. I let the throttle all the way down by accident and it just started flipping out of control. I think it was going too fast coming down. So let's see what the damage is. Okay, so here's where it crashed. Right over here across the park. And let's see what happened here. So camera, got a little bit of grass on the front. Not too bad. And while we walk back, let's see if we have any damage here. Okay, so this looks like about it as far as damage goes. Now that thing was flipping down from the air, probably because it was low battery, and also I cut the throttle too much and it started flipping down, and then I put the throttle on full blast and it was trying to self-level, and it actually did, I think, briefly until it hit the ground. So it probably hit something like this, and you can see that this foot is actually bent. Here's how it's supposed to look, and here's that left foot, if you're facing it forward, is bent here. So that looks like it may need to be replaced. I'm bending it back. Well, it still could definitely fly with this bent, so I'll probably order a couple more feet. It looks like maybe these are the things that are going to break most, is the feet here, but this arm, no problem. The propeller, I'm seeing a little bit of white stress crease here in the propeller, but man, these propellers, did you see how resilient those were when I was flying through that tree? I flew through it twice. This one's a little bent, kinked down a little bit. You can see that little stress there. A little bit of scuffing and scratching on them, but that's normal. I mean, I don't see any quad that would survive a tree branch like that. And this one, actually, the propellers didn't even break. It kept going. So definitely durable, you know. It kind of scares me that it's a unibody, but definitely durable. I mean, I went flipping down from, gosh, I was up there taking pictures, and that must have been about 100 feet or so, and then I cut the throttle and it started flipping down, hit the ground. So definitely is going to be durable. So let's go ahead and run it through some pros and cons real quick before we wrap this up. First of all, it is a unibody, so that could scare some people. If they crash really hard, they're going to be afraid that they're going to break this. But the way they braced it and how durable it is, I think it's going to take a lot to break this body. The feet are going to break, the propellers are going to break before anything else breaks. The antennas seem to be very good. They're very good antennas that bend around really nicely. I'm not sure what the polarization is on these. They may be left hand or right hand, I'm not too sure. But you're able to see the video this takes, the pictures it takes, and also the video in my Fat Shark. So I wasn't able to record the video in here because there's no way of recording the video on these two things. But hopefully you're able to see kind of what to expect in the Fat Sharks. Oh, it looks like I also lost a body clip. So that thing popped out when it hit the ground probably. No big deal, got a bunch of those laying around for other RC stuff. Cool thing, it's got this cool Lexan body, so you can just pull it off. It makes it look kind of neat, kind of has that racer look to it. The camera is adjustable up and down, so in case you start getting better, you can fly faster and point that. It does have good lighting all the way around for orientation, line of sight orientation, and it looks like you could probably do some night flying if you ever wanted to do that with these bright front LEDs. I didn't see any way to shut those off, so I'm not sure you can shut those LEDs off to save some power. But you could see how long the flight time was in that first flight with the stock battery. That was amazing. And I'll have that up on the screen so you can see what that stock battery flight time was. But overall, you know what? It comes with this FPV monitor that's really good that you can use for whatever craft you have. This universal mount here that you can also put on other crafts as long as they have this metal bar. The controllers seem decent. A little con is it doesn't have any full acro mode. It only has regular stable self-leveling without flips and horizon mode that self-levels and you can do flips. The horizon mode, I would have liked it to be a little more locked in with this pitch and roll stick. When you are flying it around, it seemed like it wasn't really locked in. It was a little bit wishy-washy. And you know, that could also be due to the propellers. I kept beating them up and smashing them around, so maybe that had some contribution to that. It seemed like the range was good. I went out past those trees, and when I got to the other side of the trees, I started seeing some breakup in the goggles, but that's fully acceptable. That's normal. These goggles were pretty good. They don't block out enough light, so they need to have, like, maybe put in multiple silicone eye cups in for people that have different size heads. I mean, I could have used this. If this would have kind of came in a little more sucked into my head, it would have been perfect, but it's just too wide coming out. So I don't know, maybe if they could make some kind of insert or something just so it hugs your head and blocks out all the light. They're actually really good goggles. I would they looked exactly like Fat Sharks. The screen inside of them, when I was actually flying and not paying attention to the light leaks, they looked exactly like the quality of like a Fat Shark. It was fine. And also they're a little more low profile too. Of course, there's no recording in there and all that kind of stuff, and there's no receiver. They have to be plugged into this receiver and they're getting the output, but they did the job very well. As far as the power, it seemed like it did have enough power. You know, this is going to be more geared toward like a beginner FPVer. And this is a 3S. I would have liked to see maybe a 4S capability on this. You can see by these plastic ribs, you can't really fit in a 4S battery in here because 4S is going to have one more cell and they're going to be a little bit higher up. So I don't even know if this thing takes 4S, but it would have been nice to see it maybe be able to take 4S. Otherwise, guys, I had a lot of fun with this. This thing did great flips, real speedy, you know, fairly easy to control. It's not a pro racer, but it was good enough for what it is. A great one to begin on if you're looking for something like this. Anyway, guys, I hope you liked that thorough flight test review. We saw a line of sight, and then we saw a bunch of FPV footage, smashing into my leg, smashing into the ground, smashing into the tree over there, and it survived. So I do a lot of reviews like this, so check out the channel. I think you like it, and don't forget to check out that link down in the description of where you can get this and all the specs and the current pricing. Anyway, thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching.